days to build up to the first test of the Ashes 25-26. Alongside me is Aaron Finch and Callum Ferguson. Gents, great to have you back on board for season 3 of Around the Wicket. Looks like we're in for a couple of debutants in Perth with injuries to Hazlewood and Cummins. Brendan Doggett to start with. Finchy, what are we in for? Yeah, well, he's in exceptional form at the moment, and I think that that's the key when picking somebody for their test debut. I mean, there's guys that get picked on spots becoming available, and he's just the lucky one on this occasion. So he's fast, he pitches the ball up. I think perfect for the Perth conditions. You used to captain him at the Thunder. What can you tell us about him? Oh, he's quite a relaxed character, but an unbelievable professional. Just dots the I's, crosses the T's, and fit as a fiddle. He did miss a couple of games at the start of the Shield season. Since coming back, 2 fifers in his first 2 Shield games of the summer. And if you go back further, he's taken 5 first-class fifers in his last 5 Shield games as well. So comes in roaring form. He bowls quick. He does swing it, like Finchy mentioned, but also he's got some gears. He's got the ability to really go fast and short if you need a battering ram later in the innings. So with Cam Green and his injury woes, I think he might be more likely to be that guy that can really intimidate. And a bit of an unknown quantity for England as well, potentially. That's right. Well, they haven't seen him. So it's fantastic to have that little bit of smoke and mirrors about you. And it is a really significant moment in the game because it's the first time that 2 Indigenous men have been in the same Test 11. He is a Warramai man. Of course, he'll be joining Scott Boland, who's done some fantastic things, and great to see him get an opportunity in the very first Test. Jake Weatherald is the other man likely to make his debut opening for Australia. Once again, you know him well back in the South Australia days. You even brought up a record total for SA in a one-day domestic game, I believe, when he was at the age of 21. Yeah, I think we might have taken advantage of the CA11 back in the day at Hurstfield. Quite a small ground, postage stamp, but that was the moment where I think we all looked at what Jake Weatherald was doing against a high-quality attack and some really talented bowlers in that lineup and thought, well, this guy's hitting balls to weird areas that we're not used to seeing. He's got an enormous amount of power, and he was doing it from quite an early age at the Shield level as well. So he's been around for a long time. He's seen some really tricky conditions down in Bellerive over the last few years, an inconsistent wicket, but he's shown extreme consistency. So that's what you want to see from openers. We've been waiting for an opener to put their hand up for a long time. He's done it. The selectors have picked him, which is great to see. You know what it's like to play as an opener in Perth. What's he dealing with when it comes to those debutante nerves as well? And, you know, imposter syndrome, all those types of things when you're coming in later in your career. Well, I think the fact that he's gone away and gone from South Australia, which is a comfortable environment for him, to then go down to Hobart to get an opportunity to almost reinvigorate his career. I think that says a lot about the person that he is, and that will hold him in good stead come Friday, should he walk out and mark centre first up, because I think you get the understanding of what it takes to be in an uncomfortable environment, and he's certainly done that. I love the way that he plays. He takes it on. I think he will complement Usman Khawaja really well. He's that aggressive player. He's good on the short ball. He takes it on early. Back foot play is exceptional. So, I mean, when he walks out and opens a batting, no doubt there'll be nerves there, and there'll be a part of him that wants to get off the mark, and he might overplay it in his head, but he's a relaxed guy. I think he'll do wonders. I like what he brings to the dressing room as well. He's a slightly different character. He's a bit of a muso. He's your neighbour, isn't he? Well, he lived around the corner for a long period of time before he went down to Tassie, so we used to spend a bit of time with Jake and Rachel, and he's just that kind of guy that brings a great buzz to a dressing room. You see that when he's playing in the Big Bash in particular. Brings a lot of energy to that outfield, and I think he's going to be a great fit for the dressing room. He keeps joking that Usman Khawaja is calling him Jack, so he's hoping that he's going to get to Jake by the time we get to that first ball in Perth. Don't go anywhere, because Michael Clarke, the former Aussie captain, is going to talk about those Aussie injuries next. Welcome back, and a big welcome back to Michael Clarke, who joins us for season 3 of Around the Wicket. Pup, always great to have you join us. No Hazlewood, no Cummins. How much does it level the playing field, do you think, heading into this first test in Perth?
Oh, nice to be back, guys. Thanks for having me. Yes, it hurts Australia, but I think it also presents a great opportunity for some new faces, or certainly one new face to be in that 11. I think our bowling stocks in first class cricket are extremely strong. I just think we haven't been able to see a lot of these fast bowlers, particularly because we've had three greats of the game play for so long together and consistently in Cummins, Hazelwood, and Stark. So, look, yeah, any team with Hazelwood and Cummins in it is a stronger team, but I'm not that concerned. And also, particularly because it's in Perth.
No, Sean Abbott as well, and we feel for him because he was so close to finally getting that baggy green. But, Finchy, you think that this now becomes a bit of a 50-50 contest in Perth?
Yeah, I do. But like Pup said, obviously, with the fast bowling stocks, this Perth wicket presents the opportunity for fresh faces, but also the evenness of the contest, I think, is outweighed by the surface that you get. It's not a wicket where you're going to have to blast away for 150 overs to knock over a team. Things can happen pretty fast. And, I mean, Doggett, he's good. He's very good. He moves the ball. So I'm excited for this.
What do you think?
I'm really excited to see Brendan Doggett get an opportunity in Perth. I think that wicket will suit him quite nicely. As Finchy mentioned, he does swing the ball, but he's got the ability to go up a gear and bowl quick. And
They're
bowling.
not going to get a better opportunity than this, though, are they? England.
Oh no, this is. I think England's got the real. They've got the assets, really. That you look at Archer and Wood, if those two come firing and fit, obviously a bit of a question mark over Wood at the moment, but if those two come ready to go with Atkinson there as well, they've got assets that can really bomb a top order that's maybe a little bit unstable compared to what we've seen from an Australian side in the past.
Quirky one for you. Who do you think is a bigger loss in Perth, Cummins or Hazelwood, Finchy?
Oh, I think just for the pure length that Josh Hazelwood bowls in Perth, I think that it has to be him. It's a tough question. I mean, splitting hairs there, but just the ability to hit the top of the stumps in Perth is crucial, and that's why I think Hazelwood probably presents a bigger challenge on a bouncier wicket.
Pup, from a batting perspective, looking like a debutant in Weatherald, but do you think potentially the age of the Aussies could start to show, and as the summer wears on, as up against those real raw quicks, as Ferg was referring to?
I think if you lose, it'll be mentioned. But on the other hand, I do think age is a number. But the one thing I remember as I got older, speed through the air is something you notice. And it's not, I think it might be body movement because I had a bad back as well, but also your eyes, as you get older, you probably don't see as clearly as you do when you're 20 years of age. But we've got class batters in that top six. I think they'll be able to adjust. But I think speed through the air, if the wicket becomes flat, is a huge advantage to England if they can provide Wood and Archer to play a part in this series. There's no doubt about it. I think if you can bowl 150 plus Ks, I think that's a big difference. You can train for about 140 Ks, I reckon, on bowling machines and the Wanger and, facing a lot of guys these days. Not too many bowl over 150, but that extra 10 Ks is significant.
Yeah, and also it's the first time in your career that you probably start to doubt yourself and second guess. And there's times when you're fresh and you're young and you're ignorant and you're naive and you're just out there to have fun. You don't think about the speed. You just start thinking about how you can take it on, and then you go, well, maybe my eyes are going. Geez, am I picking up a bit clearer? So that's a good point from Pup.
So it can potentially snowball as the summer goes on.
Quickly too.
Jake Weatherald.
It does. I can tell you it does snowball quickly.
There's a snowstorm coming.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Weatherald,
wow.
he will become, if he's picked, the 14th opener in the past 5 years, the 7th since the retirement of David Warner. And as you can see there, Khawaja and Warner, the only two to actually register tons in that time, and Head and Khawaja as openers, the only ones to average over 40 in those last 5 years. How concerning is this, Pup?
Look, I don't think the selectors have helped themselves in regards to, this theory about just pick the best six batters. I'm a believer that, and the talk around batting orders are overrated. Well, in Test cricket, I disagree completely. I think there are specialist positions. I think opening the batting is one of those positions. So I think we probably have shot ourselves in the foot a little bit by just thinking we'll just pick the best six batters. I think Weatherald plays. I think him and Khawaja are the two specialist openers. I think it's good. I also don't think the selectors helped themselves with what they did with Constas, not picking him in Sri Lanka. I think that would have been a good opportunity for him. Not picking him in the Test Championship again, that would have gave him a chance to play in maximum pressure situation at Lord's, special occasion. But it is what it is, right? This is who we got. And I think our squad's strong. I think Weatherald has earned the right to be selected over his performances over the past couple of Shield seasons. Batting in Women's Shield cricket has been extremely tough, probably the last 5 to 10 years. I think there's so much in those wickets, as it has been in Test cricket as well. I think that's the other thing we've got to remember. Batting in Australia the last 3 or 4 years, I think in Test cricket has been as tough as I can remember. So opening the batting is the hardest place to bat against that moving ball. So that'll be a challenge for Weatherald and Khawaja, no doubt again. But let's keep the faith. Let's pick and stick. I think if you're picking him in the first Test, you've got to give him the series. You've got to give him the opportunity. I think everyone deserves that time. I think he's shown the way he plays, the brand of cricket. I think if he gets it right, he'll probably help his batters around him as well. Khawaja, Labuschagne, Smith, a little bit like David Warner did. Now, there's a big difference between those two players, but I think the style of play, that aggressive intent, is probably what we've had for a long time with certainly one, if not two, of our opening batters.
Sounds like to me, Pup, you're saying it's been a good few years to be retired. Steve Smith is one of those players that has pointed out to the English that the conditions here in Australia in particular have been really tough. So he threw down that gauntlet early. To me, it feels like he's giving off real BCE, big captain energy heading into this first Test. He's had the silver chain. As I say, he's had a bit of chat. He's coming off, you know, the summer in New York, our winter, doing gym sessions and all that sort of thing. Is he primed for a big summer, do you think, your old mate?
Yeah, I think he's batting well. I think he's at a stage of his career where he doesn't need too much cricket to get ready. I think he's shown that in his runs for New South Wales. So I think he's ready to go. Smitty's not a big talker, though, so I don't think he's saying these things as a form of sledging. I think he's being real. I think he's been completely honest around. He knows he's scored runs for the last 10 years, and the last 2 or 3 years batting in Australia have been tough. Interesting to see what they do with these wickets, though, because, again, if Cricket Australia is losing money and the state boards are losing money, they want Test matches to go 4 or 5 days. They need it. So I think you'll see better wickets than we've seen the last couple of years. But I think in particularly Perth and Brisbane, you're still going to see pace bounce. You're still going to see some sideways movement on day one. But I hope we see some Nathan Lyon action as well. I hope we see natural variation and some spin come day 3, day 4, day 5.
Ferg, you like what you see when it comes to Smudge this summer?
Yeah, the determination, particularly back in the Shield, he was really determined to bat right through the New South Wales innings every time he walked to the crease. The lightsaber was out as well. We can't forget about that. That is a fantastic sign for him that he's switched on and he's in the game. So, look, I'm really excited to see him get back into it and put in a big summer for the Australians. I actually think, Mick, that there's going to be a fair bit of movement in the Adelaide pitch still with that red ball. I'm not sure that it's quite the surface that it used to be. I think with the pink ball, it's changed its characteristics. So I still reckon, yes, there'll be better surfaces this summer, but I still think there's going to be plenty in them.
You talk about a man in form, Marnus Labuschagne. Has he done enough to prove his place back at that number 3 spot? And have you seen any slight technical adjustments, Pup?
100%. He's the first picked player. If there's only one spot, Marnus is picked, no matter where that is in the order. He's earned the right. He's in terrific form. He's got his confidence back. I think he's back playing the way he enjoys playing and what made him the number 1 batsman in the world 2 years ago. I like him at number 3. I think that's his best position. I think statistically his numbers are second to Ricky Ponting batting at number 3. So I think that's a good selection. They go that way. Bat him at number 3, Smudge at number 4. He's in ideal form. And when you're coming back into an Australian team after being dropped, I think being in form is so important. You know the level's different between Shield cricket and international cricket. So if you can go there confident in your own game, and generally that means you've scored runs at Shield level, which he has, I think it allows you to play with that freedom that you need at the highest level. So I think Marnus will have a great series. I think him and Smitty are going to be the 2 most important players in our team in those 2 prime positions. And I think Marnus is as ready as he's ever been.
I think the technical changes that Marnus has made are a great reflection on him actually taking some time to go back and adjust his game and not just get in the merry-go-round of continually playing and trying to sort out your technical deficiencies in a game. There's time to really drill it, and he's done that well. But the fact that he's back at number 3, well, we assume he'll be back at number 3, that makes Australia function a whole lot better, in my opinion. It buys Steve Smith time. Instead of being in the 10th over, your number 4's in the 30th over, and he's if the ball's old and not moving, good luck getting him out this summer. Right. So the flow-on effect of Marnus being in good form at number 3 is so huge for Australia. And like Pup said, arguably the most important player this summer.
Pup, geez, you've come in firing for the first episode. Cannot wait for the summer ahead. Thank you so much, and we'll chat to you next week after Perth.
Go the Aussies. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Don't go anywhere, because up next, Graeme Swann makes his Around the Wicket debut. Time to bring in a brand new debutant to Around the Wicket for Season 3. It is a very warm welcome to one of our favourites, Graeme Swann. Swanny, thanks so much for joining us on the team.
Hello, Nez. How are you doing, boys? All good?
Well, I'm beautifully here, mate.
Now, Swanny, I've got to tell you, if all 5 of us, including Pup, were added to the England squad, they would still be younger than Australia's squad heading into this first test. How old is too old, do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the 3 of us boys could probably still get in the Australian top 6 due to our averages
hang on
and
a
ages. You know, a lot's been made of this, and most of it is just our press just trying to fire shots because, you know, our gutter press and your gutter press love to do this and fire this up, and the Dad's Army call. It doesn't matter. If you're old enough or young enough and you're scoring runs, it doesn't matter how old you are. As Pup said before, there comes a limit where your eyes stop working, and then Jofra Archer might be a bit slippery. But as long as you're picking your best 6 players, the age just doesn't matter. Once you're on the field, you give it your all anyway. It's nice to have a youngster here or there, but you look at the Australian team sort of through the early 2000s, where Pup was probably 24 years old. The rest are over 30 anyway, and they were the best team that's ever been. I mean, they did have Warney, bowling leg years, and they've not got that these days, but... you know, at the age of a player, it really doesn't matter.
Genuine question. When you look at the batting orders of both of these teams, which one are you taking?
England. Any day of the week. But from a serious point of view, when I see the 2 lineups, I think if everyone's fit and firing on day one, I think Australia's bowling in Australian conditions is stronger, but England's batting is stronger. And I'm not just saying that because I'm English and I back England to the hilt at all times. I just think when you look at the English players, Duckett's a tricky bloke to bowl at, and he's proved that Test cricket probably suits him more than first-class cricket. Zach Crawley's the one for me. Zach Crawley is so important. His game doesn't really suit English pitches. He nicks off too much. But get him on hard, fast, bouncy pitches. He's a brilliant player of short bowling, likes quick bowling, likes to drive on the up. If he gets going in that first test at the Optus, the confidence that will permeate through the team is just, you know, you can't put a price on that. He could be the key to a 5-0 England victory.
Another either or. If you need somebody batting for your life, are you picking Joe Root or Steve Smith?
Oh, any day of the week, the Yorkshire Warrior. Hey, are you all right? I'll pick Joe Root. Rooty is just... I mean, you boys love Smudger, and I've got to admit, Steve Smith, I've always liked him. I got him out a few times, that's why, before he was world class. He wasn't great against Smith. But this man there, I mean, he's quite simply the best player we've ever produced. I mean, normally we pick people born in South Africa or New Zealand, so to have one born and bred in Leeds... in Sheffield, sorry. Oh, I hate that if I said Leeds. He's just a brilliant player. I mean, you lot bleating on about he's never got 100 in Australia and all that. That sounded a bit desperate, actually. Oh, Root's never got 100 over here. He won't score runs. You don't want to go a senior player. You just want to hopefully stay quiet. A guy like him, when he walks to the middle, if the Aussies said nothing, and just pretended he was, obsolete, he'd hate that. Senior players sort of demand the respect of the crowd, of the media. If you don't give it to them, that's the way to play older players. Make them think like they shouldn't be playing anymore.
Having said that, though...
You've wound up, Rooty. He's going to average 85.
Having said that, though, Finchy, if he doesn't score 100 this summer in the Ashes, will it be a little question mark next to his name, or is his legacy solid regardless?
His legacy solid regardless. He's one of the great players of all time. The fact that he hasn't got 100 here, he came out and said recently, if we win this series and I don't get 100, this will be the greatest achievement in my career. So that tells you where his head is at. He's not putting too much pressure. Of course he'd love 100. Everyone wants to get 100 everywhere. But it's just circumstances in the past. Australia have had great attacks and there's been some wickets that have been difficult. So he's an all-time great still.
Swanee, you mentioned that if everyone's fit and firing, then you're taking the Aussie attack, but they're not all fit and firing. What do you think of this pace attack now that it looks like Starke, Boland and Doggett heading into the Perth Test?
Well, I've never heard of half of them, so that's good for us. Only a joke, of course. You know, the one thing you know about Australia, and the seamers especially, they're all pretty similar. They're all pretty similar pace. They all bowl a very good length. And it's the length that really gets you as an Englishman when you first come to Australia. It's slightly shorter and you just get more bounce. And you're used to in England, you're so used to a fuller delivery that you're getting on the front foot a lot more. The shorter balls are really short in England. They have to be to get up. So it's very much front or back. In Australia, it's sort of in between. That sort of midriff height. I know you Aussies call it something different, but a midships, when it goes past you, is very tricky for English players to get used to, especially if the ball's doing a bit with extra pace. So I think the Aussies naturally bowl good lengths. I think the issue for the Aussies is if you've not got anyone of express pace blasting people out, and Starkey, if he doesn't blast people out, you don't have that fear factor and you don't have the wear and tear effect that brings Lyon into the game. So when you look at Lyon's record when Mitch Johnson was playing, especially 2013 when he was bowling rockets, it was like a caveman throwing stones down at us at 100 miles an hour. It's impossible to bat against. But everyone's so shell-shocked that when the spinner comes on, just the stress relief, the pressure release from that. Lino was picking up wickets for fun in that series. I don't think he bowled a good ball. I'm winding him up here. But, you know, it made it very easy for him. If you take him into day 4-5, where his record in Australia, he's not a match winner with the ball, that's when England have a massive chance. Because I know you always look for Warney, and I'm not taking away from Nathan Lyon. He's had a brilliant career, and especially in the subcontinent, he's done especially well. But in Australia, days 4 and 5, spinners don't really win you the game since Warney. So you take this Australian attack deep, take them into the second innings, third spells, fourth spells, England are winning this series, no problem.
I think it's a really interesting point he makes because in Australian conditions, without that express pace, it can be really difficult to roll through a lower order if you haven't got a spinner that's able to have a real impact. And that can be the case in the first innings as well. England have got that. Perhaps Australia have just lost a little bit of an edge there with Starkey being the real mainstay of that pace attack at 145. Doggett can work into that region, but perhaps not as consistently. That might be a real advantage for England. You
two are both dreaming, talking about Nathan Lyon like he's got 50 Test wickets. He's got wickets forever.
I'm not talking about Lino.
His ability to bowl on day one and get wickets in Australia is ridiculous.
I could see your face, Finch, while I was talking there. I could see you twitching.
Oh, you are
There's
dreaming.
only been one decent Aussie spinner since Richie Benham. We all know who that was, bless him.
You talk about express pace. England obviously have that, but there is a bit of a question mark over the fitness of Wood. There's always a slight question mark over Jofra Archer, given his history. And then you've got Ben Stokes as well in playing that all-rounder role in that attack. Can these three players get through 5 tests, do you think, Swanee?
No chance. No chance. No, I don't think England are even looking at them to play all 5. Realistically, I reckon they're blocking to play either Wood or Archer in as many as they can together. But realistically, if they get them together for 3 of the 5 test matches, that's a genuine spearhead attack. I think the backup seems... Gus Atkinson's a good one for me. I think he can be very tricky in Australia. He bowls that length. He reminds me a little, when I faced him, a little bit of Ryan Harris, the sort of same pace and tricky length and strong bowler, and bowling that horrible wobble seam ball nips back at you. So I think he could be good. Stokesy is a massive one for me because he's back and bowling well. He's the most talented all-rounder, arguably since Jack Callis, coming on with the ball and being a genuine test match wicket taker, not just a trundler who can pick up the odd wicket like a lot of all-rounders, but a genuine, he could take the new ball for any test nation as well. So he has a massive role to play.
We're running out of time, Swanee, but just quickly, who do you think out of everyone, players, administrators, everyone, who's under the most pressure heading into this series, do you think?
Well, I'm going to go a little left wing here. I'm going to say the groundsman or the curator at the Optus for the first test match. Because you Aussies, you're desperate to win in Perth, and you should be. Because Perth has been traditionally an absolute hunting ground, especially against the English. If you don't win in Perth in the game, if that wicket isn't absolutely suited to the Aussie team, and the problem with this Aussie team now, what wicket actually suits this team? Because if all your bowlers are fit and firing, you get a pacey, bouncy wicket that does a bit, you're pretty much formidable on that pitch. I think with the attack as it's going to be now, at the Optus, I'm back in England for that first test. And then the groundsman, the curator, will get absolutely nailed saying you didn't give us the right pitch, because we know what you're like in Australia. As soon as you lose a couple, you turn on each other. Divide and conquer, that's what we're going for. I always say the Australian crowd are like the boxing crowd in Rocky IV. They're all going for Ivan Drago at the start. As soon as Rocky lands a few punches, they change. So go Rocky.
Yeah, I'm cutting him off. One and done, I reckon, from you, Swanee. I don't think we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Couple of debutantes, no captain, no Hazelwood. Like, surely it's got to be England's to lose from here, doesn't it? We'll see you up next. Time for the short stuff. Time to take on the short stuff. The commentary battle between Stuart Broad and David Warner. Who wins this summer?
David Warner never fails to get the last word in, so you can't beat him in that regard.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's due to get one up on Broady, so Davey.
Is Australia's dominance in the women's side of the game over, do you think, after the World Cup?
No, I don't think so. I honestly think it's just a blip on the radar.
India are coming so hard.
Yeah.
That run chase against Australia was extraordinary.
Has Glenn Maxwell not retained in the IPL? Has he played his last game in the IPL, do you think?
Yeah, you'd think that he has. A lot of injury concerns. I know he would have loved to have been a part of it again, but yeah, probably.
A 3-day test in Kolkata. Congratulations to South Africa getting that 30-run win. Is it good or bad for cricket, though?
Look, it was a lively wicket, but I think that the BCCI wouldn't want to be delivering 50-50 wickets like that on home soil too often.
I loved it. Fields round about, the ball spinning big. Is it the best thing? Not sure, though.
Gents, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.